After 2 days of competitive Paladins, we were left with just one more. And Fox, we've seen some incredible plays, some of the players here who have enthused us, excited us, and of course, a couple that we've grown to envy. But before we get to the semis and the finals, we have a special treat. Collegiate Paladins, a momentous day in Paladins history where we get a chance to see some undergrads give a go at what could be a nice little start to a professional career, $10,000 on the line. Of course, I'm Alan. I hold shift on a Firee, and with me, Hugh Fox Judson.
Wow, my full name? Really?
Yeah.
That formal to start things off today? My goodness.
That much.
Oh, I'm not prepared for this.
No, and of course, I'm representing the IU today. I got my cream and crimson on. Oh.
I feel wholly underdressed now.
So we will be seeing Rowan University versus Davenport. This is a best-of-5 series, and if you have missed any of the competition that both of these teams have been through, or if you're just unfamiliar with who's on these rosters, a couple of these players here today, Vox, have worn different jerseys for some of the teams we've seen so far.
Some familiar faces that I'm sure you all will, well, maybe recognize, especially if you're familiar with some of the streaming channels for Paladins around on twitch.tv, but you can see definitely some familiar faces right there and some familiar jerseys as well.
Without a doubt, the brown and gold for the profs from Rowan University out of New Jersey, a smaller school, but most notably noted for their education scene. And this is a team that has been absolutely dominant, and really both of these teams have been, both of them perfect as far as their record goes, not just only in sets, but also maps. And of course, Davenport University with a couple of other familiar faces, the Panthers coming out of Grand Rapids, Michigan.
It always surprises me how many of these players actually, well, they go to the same college, they go to the same university. It's been remarkable how we've had players from all across the country, and especially in Europe, where we have teams made up of players from all of the different countries around the region when they have never met each other in person before a LAN, and then all of a sudden you've got teams like this which just pop up out of nowhere and go, oh, hey, you live next door? Oh, cool.
Yeah, exactly. And just for those of you who are not familiar, who have not been following the AVGL, these teams are all regional based and are affiliated with the university that has incorporated with at least one of the players. So we're going to be seeing some really interesting matchups. I know both of these teams going into it have that little bit of hype going on between the two of them representing some of their schools. And of course, the pretty hair giving the warm-up. You may be giving some last-minute tactics to Evullli here, just giving himself a warm-up before he gets to play later today.
What do you think he's saying?
That looks like a go Davenport right there, without a doubt.
Go Davenport? Oh, I wish it was Play Grover.
We're going to see in talking with a couple of the players early on, I mean, they're both guaranteed at least some share of the $10,000 prize pool, $6,000 for first, $4,000 for second. So a nice chunk of change going back towards either, living or expenses or just tuition or books and, maybe other items that college
I've heard horror stories about the college textbooks in US universities, but still, no, it's a pretty penny for all these players who are joining up. And while some of them are in the, while some of them have been in the Masters LAN, we're seeing a lot of familiar faces turn up from maybe teams which haven't quite made it here, but also some from some of the Gauntlet qualifiers, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Yeah, we're looking at Grapple here from AGG, who had a chance to represent the third place North American team in the play-in game. So again, this is just really good experience, I think, for a lot of these players, especially from both teams. We have a couple of players from Spook Esports that are also here. There were a Gauntlet team from North America, and a couple as well from Panda Global, the fourth place team from North America. So this is just good experience, I think, mostly for a lot of these players. And again, having a nice little pretty penny to come home with in some fashion is always good. Of course, everyone knows Zedwan Unknown, the man.
How do you not? How do you not? The guy who pioneered Androx's play at the highest level way back when in the beginning, known also for their EV play as well. I wonder what they'll be pulling out today. Any pocket strategies which you might be aware of?
Oh man, it's just so fun because even you have Wi-Fi as well, who is primarily the frontliner for Eager, but has been playing pretty much predominantly damaged healers for his squad of Davenport. But of course, Z1, a very talented player, and as they get into this game, it will be a best of 5. So let's take a look to see where we decide to go as far as maps, and we're going to be starting off with a very traditional pick in Jaguar Falls.
Oh, Jaguar Falls. Let me know again in Twitch chat how you think that is spelled, but it's a close-knit map right at the top of the Temple Isle aesthetic on the top of the cliff tops with plenty of water rushing down. We are ready for our champion select, and we will see what will be coming out on this map. It's usually a lot of barrack, a lot of ruckus, definitely Makoa in there, and the meta so far, we can't avoid talking about it, has been dictated by Bomb King, but will Rowan elect to select that for their squad, or will they give this one up?
It's going to be interesting, I think, just simply because all of these players are very familiar with each other, and a couple of them now on the same team that they've competed against, or vice versa, playing up against some of their other their teammates. But it looks like to start things off, Rowan will go with one of the strongest characters in the game in that Bomb King.
And Davenport will have the opportunity to respond here. So far in comp, we've usually seen Drogos and Makoa responded with here, taking those two very strong picks off the table, not allowing Rowan to stack up 2 AoE damage dealers. A wise move, but nothing unusual here, not showing their hand just yet.
Not quite, and it's going to be interesting to see, I think, mostly for a lot of us, is who's going to be playing what. Of course, we have PowTech, who was, you just saw him previously, was a player for Astral Authority pre the merger with Matchpoint, and has kind of taken on more of a coach role. And on the same side, Alternit, who was the coach for Matchpoint and had played competitively for a long time, is also getting his taste of some collegiate play, and it looks to be a Lex and a Barrack to set up the damage, extra damage really, and the front line for Rowan.
So the Barrack relatively standard here. A Lex quite so early into the draft is a little bit unusual, but on a close quarters map like Jaguar Falls, where the fall-off is less predominant, they're very valuable, and a great anti-air champion as well. They don't have the same mobility in the air as an Androxus would, and the same kill potential on Drogos, but they can certainly help keep them pinned down. And speaking of pinned down, Davenport going into a Charlene hover and a Charlene lock here, as well as a Ying, making sure that the double deployables don't go over to Rowan, even though they have the Drogos area counter.
Yeah, it's good to get that just really set up, just in case there is a double frontline situation. Again, that Wrecker pickup on Shaolin and, of course, Drogos is really good at countering out those shields, and then picking up the Ying for that sustain heal on Jaguar Falls, where you can put those illusions around different corners and still find lines of sight to your team. Very important. It looks like it's a little decision-making here between Victor and Cassie. It will be Cassie, and again, a lot of players from Rowan have these specialty roles where they're really good at playing certain characters, and when you're dealing with the collegiate scene where you're not having as much rehearsal with these players in a certain composition, a lot of these comfort picks do come out.
And Cassia pick with their recent buffs also to the dodge roll cooldown being reduced by a second allows players to prevent them from picking up Chronos, instead going directly into morale boost. 100% uptime on Scout means that Charlene, well, their ultimate just won't be that necessary, but so far we do see the teams on the left-hand side shift. Who have we got?
Mr. Hayes will be playing Meldamba with the Ripened Gourd. X Action coming out for ShadeeyShades Cassie. Ethereal will be playing Barrack with Fortify, Z1 Unknown with the Bomb King, and Fire rather with the Death Hastens.
And we do see on the other side Alternit on Ruckus with Flux Generator there. It will be Evullai on Recurve Charlene, PowTech on Focusing Lens Ying, Wi-Fi on Drogos with Wormjets, and Grapple on Half Shell Makoa.
Grapple, one of those premier frontliners for AGG, has played a lot of that, even with El Zulu being on that squad. And right off the bat, the Fortify does come out looking for a chance to get onto point and really kind of poke at one another, trying to get a feel for each other early on today here on Sunday. And again, to see who can win this battle out. You see the Grumpy Bomb coming out to help zone, and that's actually going to put down the Makoa on his back, kicking his legs back and forth. And now ShadeeyShades looking for extra damage, finds himself a double. Can he get the triple? Ethereal will take that one, but 4 kills for Rowan off the start.
And that was great target reprioritization right in the middle of the fight there from Rowan, recognizing that actually the Grumpy Bomb stun setting up the kill onto Makoa would be finished off by their teammates. ShadeeyShades instead prioritizes Ruckus across the way, allowing them to pick up that double, allowing the 4 kills to come through. And Z1 Unknown also uses Poppy Bomb there to avoid the salvo damage coming through, and is now just locking off avenues of entry. 90% and climbing on this first objective. Alternit's going to try and make their way in, but gets stunned up by Meldamba, but everybody's off the objective.
Ploink, ploink, boom, as he gets the double stick, and some more. There's another nice, oh my goodness, Z1 getting himself 3, looking for 4 straight, gets himself a confirmed triple after getting 4 straight, and all of those chants that were started earlier this weekend of Go Davenport are starting to flop on their head as Rowan takes a 1-0 lead.
Rowan are taking Davenport to school right here. Z1 throws out Grumpy Bomb, looking for damage up through the archways. That was a Dread Jacket coming through onto an ally, but they do manage to escape as well, and all the while this area damage from Bomb King is doing so much work. Pulled in though, Z1 must use Poppy to escape, does get back out to safety, and all the while the payload is advancing.
Yeah, still with 2 minutes on the clock until we even get to overtime. Wi-Fi is looking for shots on this Drogos, but has not been able to find many connections as far as the Sitfires nor the salvos as of yet. ShadeeyShades impaled into the wall, and with a planted right after that from Evullai, he will go down to the defense, finding some traction as they are up now in numbers 4 on 5 and looking for possibly more kills.
Maybe a little bit of a greedy play there coming through from Rowan. Davenport are withstanding their pressure for the time being. They need to be careful. They need to be aggressive here in order to set up the kills, and that's exactly what will happen as Planted sets up a perfect kill onto Barrack there, looking for more around the corner. Evullai takes down 2 in a row, but is quickly answered back by Fire, but still 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock. Rowan have been stalled out entirely.
And this is really going to come down to what kind of routes can you get here on Jaguar Falls, especially as the defense gets more aggressive. It's very easy to move from left to right in this particular portion of the map, and if the defense can scope out where they're coming from, they can really find a nice focus, and you can see they've sniffed out this left side flank prospectively for them and looking for the kills and the pulls onto the barrack. Again, that solo tank just not able to stand up as much against the double Makoa Druckus.
Although feared is Alternit Dread Serpent coming through. Alternit must retreat here, gets around the corner, trying to get to safety with advanced Wi-Fi. Has Salvo charged and ready, looking for damage on the Lex, gets out of danger very quickly, all the while being judged by that Grumpy Bomb, wouldn't you say? They look rather condescending there.
Without a doubt, that Grumpy Bomb is so absolutely dangerous. A nice pull here from Makoa to try to get Lex off the table, and it will happen with the confirmed damage from Wi-Fi, who continues to move around with these Worm Jets, looking for Barrack, who is trying desperately to escape, but is just running into everybody. So Wi-Fi finding 2 straight kills, looking for possibly 3, but has to be careful of that Grumpy Bomb as it was centralized right in the middle of the payload. But with just getting down to 15 seconds left in the clock before overtime gets into play, Rowan has really kind of fallen back from this offensive start that they've had.
One last opportunity to close the gap. Rowan, at this point, it would be wiser for them to disengage. They have no immediate gap closers. There is a Shaolin here setting up the Impale kills. Barrack won't close the distance. Davenport will defend successfully.
Yeah, a little bit of extra damage coming on ShadeeyShades, actually finding himself a pickup of a kill there at the very end. And as we look at itemization as it comes out, of course, the priority has mostly gone to, since the last couple of patches, the offensive items of Cauterize and Wrecker. But we're seeing a couple interesting things. A double Chronos coming out from Mr. Hayes' Maldava, trying to get those heals out as fast as possible. And Cassie going with the Master Riding.
And it's not just that. Z1 Unknown, actually, as well, with Cassie having Wrecker too, is enabling them to just go into a single Wrecker, only dealing with the shields coming from Alternit and Grapple on Ruckus and Makoa respectively, allows them to really combo into more items, going for Chronos, for more Grumpy Bombs, for more Poppy Bombs, and Life Rip to help keep this Bomb King being played as a flanker alive. They are going to become a monster here, but if PowTech can apply that anti-heal, then it might be a good look to shut them down.
And that's going to be really key as far as how you can spread that damage around. You see the Planted coming out just to take down the Fortified Shield. Illusionary Rift is triggered as Ying punches right through the mirror, and PowTech looking to keep his team alive as this flank is coming in right nicely. Fire able to help out with ShadeeyShades from the backside. A little bit of a pincer move there from both of those flankers, and able to get 2. And now Z1 Unknown with some room to move, looking to get into this backline. And once again, Rowan establishing control very early on in these neutral capture points.
ShadeeyShades needs to be careful here. The barricade will protect from the Makoa Dredge Anchor, but Rowan upwards of 75%. Again, no contest coming through from Davenport. Can anybody close the gap? It's going to be Grapple around the outside, but they're being zoned out entirely. It's just a little bit too much. Alternit has closed through, but again, the Grumpy Bomb preemptively from Z1 prevents the capture stall. Overtime is ticking. How long can Davenport hold on for? ShadeeyShades whiffs a couple of shots in a row, but finds a rampage there, looking for a double kill, and that will be the capture rolling through for the team in the blue. 2-1 on the scoreboard at 6 minutes in.
And a full team wipe once again for Rowan. These double front lines from Davenport have just not been able to get into the face of this Bomb King, who has been being very patient, letting his damage dealers on the side, the flank Cassie that's coming out, of course, with the Lex, have been opening up these opportunities for Z1 just to push right on through. And of course, these clutch anticipatory Grumpy Bombs to stun out these re-engages have been absolutely clutch in getting him these free sticks, and of course, that extra damage. So look again, ShadeeyShades popping the ultimate, looking to get around this flank. It's going to scope all of it out, but has to be careful as the Dredge Anchor very well could have been coming in, but still finding a really good poke thus far is Shades.
Getting poked out significantly themselves. The cooldown reset on dodge roll, allowing them to keep up that exaction damage. Watch out, that's a Hexafire coming through from Alternate. No, Z1 wipes them out, but Wi-Fi finds a double kill in trade. That's exactly the kind of multi-kill that Davenport at this point need to take the wind out of Rowan's sails. A great Dredge Anchor comes through on a Fire as well, but they haven't found the kill confirmation. Fire is just boxing out here. 1 versus 2, but the Dredge Anchor again from Grapple with that Chronos cooldown reduction comes up and does secure the kill.
What a long life for Fire, almost actually confirming a kill in the face of what looked like to be a 3-on-1.
So if I'm not mistaken as well, it was a lot of lifesteal coming through on that Lexus, which is going to be so important at boxing out against these tanky targets. The Retribution target, when marked, will be able to be lifesteal from if you have the right loadout, but that just doesn't matter in the face of all of the damage coming through from Dread Serpent combos here. Dragon Punch is channeled.
Yeah, and with the ShadeeyShades on a 13 streak, Wi-Fi's looking to get some momentum back onto his team. Oh, but the execution coming out midair against Wi-Fi will shut him down, and the payload continues to move as we get below 45 seconds. A successful push for Rowan. They go up 3-1, and ShadeeyShades making it hurt just after on a 16 streak.
Lex calling value on that one, and Fire with now 776 36 credits in their pocket, can't itemize into a third tier of either Cauterize or Life Rip, but it's that early itemization into Life Rip which allowed them to box out for quite so long. Currently though on a 16 streak. Look at ShadeeyShades here. Scout is up and available. They've picked up a Rekka 2, Master Riding 1, Haven 2 for the 1v1 duels, and now a kill to heal to just continue the snowball versus Davenport, who need to look to shut them down.
He's finding a lot of shots post-dodge roll, which gives him that natural lifesteal. So going for kill to heal here will allow him to, again, find another instance of heal once he secures a kill, which he's obviously been able to do very successfully thus far. And looking to possibly close out map number 1 is Rowan. But with that scout active, they're going to see exactly where this flank is coming. You can see the traps being laid out just in case from Z1. Nobody's really committed a point yet, but it is at 9% in favor of the Barrack for Rowan, able to get onto point. And a nice pull right there to get off the ShadeeyShades kill streak, and coming back through is an Illusionary Rift to recommit for Davenport as they look to get back onto point.
Heathade's already used Dragon Punch's channel once again as Shades went down. That kill streak immediately refilled the meter. This time it's Davenport who are coming out strong, looking for kill potential onto somebody, anybody. Z1 is being sniffed out by the fire spit around the corner, finds damage, does Evullli, sends them straight back to base. This time around is Davenport established, and now with their double front line, Rowan are going to have to try and break their defenses down.
Yeah, the Panthers from Davenport looking like they're coming to life here late in this game, and they desperately need to just to find some traction. They do catch themselves their first capture point, now going just 3-2 on the scoreboard, and with momentum, looking to continue to find ways to push this payload towards a potential successful capture.
So crucial in that last engagement, though, was allowing Wi-Fi to get the shutdown kill onto ShadeeyShades, having Dragon Punch immediately available and fully charged again. It's a reason that we often see competitive players actually go for the edge kills on themselves, the suicides off the map, to prevent all of that ultimate charge from being given to your enemies. But now Grapple, leading the front line for Davenport, looks to find an entryway into this fight. Dredgeanchor could set up an entire play, but Z1 to the backline. King Bomb is here. Nice reactive emitter coming through from Alternit there, keeps the ruckus alive, and Z1 takes the fall.
Yeah, missed opportunity for sure, but Fire able to find himself 2 kills in the back end of an execution, looking for his third. He's not able to find the final kill. The pursuit will lock him down, and now with some extra help from Eldamba, Rowan establishes themselves this defensive front, very much needed, as that Z1 unknown missed ult could have been really detrimental to their cause.
And just from those few kills, Lex is now sitting on 1,400 credits. That's another 700 of what they had in base. If they get sent back for a mid-round buy, they could very well itemize into a Cauterize 3 here. Going to take a lot of the healing away from PowTech on Ying for Davenport, which is certainly a keystone to the success of this team so far. But we're now seeing if they're all dragged in. No kills quite yet acquired, but a lot of poke coming out of that salvo.
Yeah, that's going to be the big target, I think, for Grapple's trying to find Barrack and get him out of here. Those turrets are so absolutely devastating if left alone, and of course the Fortify is a big shield, but ShadeeyShades pulled into danger, will fall thanks to the focusing lens from PowTech's Ying, and looking to convert this opportunity. Another nice pull as well from Grapple, who's absolutely locking on to these big targets, whether they be supports, damage, or frontliners alike. Doesn't seem to matter, no discrimination here, as they're able to get just kill after kill, and this push looking really good as we near the 30-second mark.
Davenport had the opportunity to equalize here. They can use their ultimates to try and snowball this through, and it will be Hexafire and Dragon Punch used in tandem. Hexafire meets the barricade, but the Dragon Punch goes straight through that. Barrack will fall. Double kill for Wi-Fi, looking for the triple kill. Nice fire spit, full team wipe. Davenport pushed through to tie things up.
Nearly a quadra kill as well, as Fire was super low on HP. It was just PowTech who confirmed the kill just before that fire spit could go all the way through. And looking at this, this is going to be a very interesting situation, as there are 2 big ultimates off the table for Davenport in the Dragon Punch, as well as, of course, the Hexafire that we saw thrown immediately into that Fortify. And looking on the other side for Rowan, there's no King Bomb, but just about everything else should be up in the middle of this fight.
And Scout is going to be so important yet again, coming through from ShadeeyShades to reveal where the enemies are coming from. I am confused by their Master Riding pickup here, though. At this point, more Scout uptime, or even that little bit of cooldown reduction if you miss your dodge roll, may be more valuable than just getting to the objective first, because Scout will be still activated before these teams see each other, and therefore ShadeeyShades will be on the ground. They'll have their mount speed taken away, but straight to the objective is going to be the team in blue, Rowan, trying to establish that front line.
And a nice ceremonious salvo to start things up right on the central point of this neutral capture, getting a lot of poke done very early, but ShadeeyShades not seeming to care too much as he goes straight into this point. And again, again, looking to possibly find a flank with his buddy Lex, as they've been able to do so very successfully so far. Ethereall able to get down the Dreadster, but also discouraging anybody from Davenport to get here, but the Illusionary Rift comes out just past that, able to keep most of the team at least relatively healthy
90.
and in this, but 93%, 96, and Davenport, I don't think they're not going to be able to get there. So the first game, as unexpected as it seemed to be from a lot of people who were talking about this matchup, goes the way of the profs from Rowan University.
They just had such commanding control of the game almost the entire way through until one little slip-up allowed Davenport the way in, and that's really the secret to Davenport's strategy there. They were playing a composition, they were playing a lineup which relied on getting onto the objective to have that flux generator, a repulsor field from Ruckus really take effect, and all the way through, Rowan would have none of it. They just stopped them in their tracks, didn't allow them to get that extra damage mitigation, and a lot of that setup coming from Z1's Grumpy Bombs.
Oh, without a doubt, and that's just the strength that we've seen all weekend from Bomb King. And this is just kind of interesting to see. Again, all 5 players from Davenport have been here the entire weekend, and they've been talking a pretty big game about how their team is just going to absolutely run through Rowan, and a lot more seriousness coming out of the props, able to find themselves their first game. As we transition over to the scoreboard, you're going to see ShadeeyShades finding an impressive 102,000 damage, is actually on top of the damage charts, and behind that is surprisingly Lex, even though the fact of the matter was Z1 started off a lot of those engagements.
Z1's Bomb King had so much of the setup without chain reaction there. They didn't have the bonus damage coming through, and ShadeeyShades on Cassie had the consistent damage of the exaction, just rolling and shooting the bonus 700 damage shots again and again and again, and just able to take down anybody in their path.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how this this set kind of moves on. I was talking with PowTech earlier this morning. He's like, Shift, who do you want me to play today? What character do you want me to play? And now that things are looking a little less in their favor, we might start to see this matchup go the distance and get really hot. And speaking of really hot, again, ShadeeyShades has been absolutely on fire just about the entire weekend, playing damage dealers for Eager. Oh, right. My bad.
Look, I got a someone in there.
But again, 102,000 damage for ShadeeyShades, again, representing Team Eager in this collegiate showdown. Really showing the power that Cassie is still able to get the numbers up there.
Cassie just still excels in all these games. We've seen the niche picks come out. We've seen the, how should we phrase this? The picks which work with the composition come out. The ones which have such synergy with the compositions which a lot of the professional players have been using so far this week. That doesn't mean that Cassie has really fallen out of anywhere. There might be a better choice for this situation, but she still does what Cassie does, which is bring off long distance damage, a lack of fall off. But on the other side of things, a lack of fall off, a champion which usually performs very, very well, Shaolin, maybe not having the impact we expected that last game.
And Evullli has been an incredible player on a lot of the splash damage for Astral Authority this entire weekend, and kind of switching up roles, you know, just to kind of help his team out a little bit. He does go 21-10, but still the 69,000 damage is not what you'd normally anticipate. And really this comes down to the fact that both Shades and as well Fire playing Lex did a really good job of disrupting the Shaolin, never let him get set up.
And the Scout ultimate coming through from Cassie has a multiple counter to this champion as well. Shaolin, of course, you have your Scout for when Heat Haze is activated to make sure that they're revealed through stealth, but also Scout makes you CC immune. If Cassie dodge rolls up to you, all of a sudden that Impale and Planted combo is just not going to work, and we did see Evulli take the fall.
Yep, and now finally getting a loss for one of these teams on the scoreboard, first time this series. And again, this comes after 4 weeks of group play and a full weekend of playoffs matches with the top 8 teams out of what was a lot of teams really to start things off. 4 divisions of about 8 to 10, depending on where they fell regionally. And these were the 2 kings as we anticipated coming in. And now a little bit of a clash, a little battle royale happening between some of these pros as they kind of affiliate with one another on the university level.
And they've all played with each other on different teams in different circumstances before. They're all familiar with each other's playstyles and tactics, and they're seeing if they can pull out something a little bit new here as well. So far we've seen Jaguar Falls, relatively standard, one of the most popular competitive maps right now, and I don't doubt that we're going to be heading through to something similar very shortly as well. But as you see the players communicating, getting ready for each other, we've got PowTech on screen right now playing the Ying last game, just not able to have the impact due to the cauterize which came online. And we've seen this item specifically cause such an impact in the games all through this last weekend.
Well, especially late in the game. I mean, he still pulled out a really nice number for healing, especially for a Ying that was in the face of a lot of damage coming from every different angle. But that being said, you know, it's just just really good to see these players, and again, Alternit and PowTech, of course, being here kind of as a consultant role for both Eager and Astral, respectively. And on top of that, of course, we saw Z1 just previously. It's just really good to see these guys sitting at the computer and giving themselves a chance to play in a competitive environment.
Able to get a hands-on and then maybe switching things up a little bit. You know, we've talked compositions. One of the things which I want to bring up, which came up yesterday, was the fact that we saw this healing Pip come through from Cuskudi in the final set of the day. PowTech has a bit of a reputation for Pip. You think we'll be seeing some of that later?
It very well could be. I mean, he's played a lot, and speaking of someone who can play a lot, Mr. Hayes, representing again the brown and gold of Rowan University today, sitting right up in here looking for a chance to really kind of make a name. And this is kind of the big thing for a lot of these players, is for some of the community, they might not know who they are. And these are, again, on mid to high tier teams from North America and giving themselves a chance to be getting some LAN experience, as we've talked, but also to kind of maybe stand out and make a name for themselves.
And this is certainly the opportunity to, here on the big stage, to kick things off in day number 3 of the Paladins Masters LAN with the Collegiate Finals here. And it's been such a phenomenal experience so far, but the maps are ready. We're ready for round number 2. The rematch is here, and it's going to be on Stone Keep.
Yes, interesting pick. It brings a lot of dynamics as far as the verticality goes in this map, and of course, a lot more close quarters, not as much of a distance from spawn to point and then point to conversion. So it's really very difficult to get super aggressive on this map simply because the respawns are so close. But as we jump over, we'll take a look at what the draft will look like, as this time Davenport will have the first pick, and I would anticipate very ceremoniously, as it has been so far, the torchbearer of this entire weekend so far has been Bomb King.
Is going to be the Bomb King. Rowan respond in tandem with Makoa. Likely Drogoz on this map as well, although Charlene has been the all-popular second pick in tandem with them. It's going to be Charlene as well. This gives Davenport the opportunity to draft double blaster here.
Yeah, and that's been a really questionable decision, you know, at the first look, was do you really want to take that much area damage? But the fact of the matter is, Blast Shields is not prioritized over getting a Wrecker or Cauterize, so you still get a lot of full value very early on. It will be the Barrack to set things up with those turrets, and as you called, it looks like Drogoz should be locked in and will be.
Rowan need to think carefully about their draft coming through here. They can't afford to give Ying and Ruckus away to Davenport. That's the win condition, and has been for a lot of teams so far this weekend. It's the impossible to break point stack combination with Repulsor Field's effects working on all the deployables. They're going to go with Maldamba though, happy to give the Ying up to the enemy team, but they're lacking significantly in area damage. No, last minute switch up to the Ying may have a bit of an impact here, but still waiting for the final pick. It's going to be Lex.
Yeah, and that's really a smart choice considering how well Lex was played in the previous game, especially in those close quarters on those flanking routes, which of course is going to be the big focus for Rowan to again try to get themselves some damage outside of just the damage that will be coming into point. And they're going to need to find a way to counter these highly mobile targets, especially in the verticality when it comes to Bomb King Drogoz. And Knessa currently hovered over, and this is interesting simply because it would provide a lot of distance damage, and it would obviously take away the opportunity for Rowan to use that against the Dragon in the Skies, but instead going for a safer pick with Victor, and the Maldamba will be the dedicated support.
More consistent damage, point break potential coming from Barrage, and Maldamba as well, able to keep Drogoz alive in the air very consistently with Mending Spirits. Last pick coming through, gonna be an Eevee here, and I actually enjoy this. Whilst they are countered pretty heavily by Bomb King, their ability to assassinate Victor is supreme.
And there's a lot of really talented players on Rowan who can play Eevee. We've seen ShadeeyShades play him this weekend. Z1, a very good Eevee player as well. And as we jump into game, we'll have to take a look to see who plays what. Again, Davenport down in the set 0-1, and looking to get back into it with Grapple playing Barrack of the Fortify card. It will be Firefight for Wi-Fi's Victor, Alternate on the Drogoz, the Fusillade. It will be PowTech again, supporting with Maldamba's Ripe and Gordon. Evullli will have Accelerant Bomb King.
And on the other side of things, ShadeeyShades on Shaolin with Recurve here. Mr. Hayes on Ying with Resonance there. Ethereall on Makoa with Half Shell. It will be Fire on Lex with Death Hastens, and Z1 Unknown with Reprieve, Eevee, and Cronus pick up to start.
Yeah, just trying to get that Blink and Soar off the cooldowns as we come down through this. And with Evulli playing Bomb King, he will be looking to get all that damage down. We haven't really yet to see him play it this weekend because Dosubs has been the one for his team playing it, and now looking to get himself online with the King himself as he gets a stick after stick, looking for another damage, and he will get the kill on Fire, trading out for his teammate Wi-Fi who fell just previously.
Now turns their attention to the objective. The Dome Shield is down, the Shell Shield is there, dredged in is Evulli, likely going down there to Mr. Hayes, and it will be Rowan holding the objective. Still, PowTech takes a lot of focus fire. Charlene missing a couple of shots in a row. ShadeeyShades a little bit frustrated with that, but still Z1 Unknown able to pick up the slack.
Yeah, shaking that one off a little bit as we have yet to really see Shades play the Shaolin, but Rowan once again controlling the point and the outside perimeter. They find themselves up again, 1-0.
And so far, Davenport just haven't been able to stop this play coming through. You thought that maybe with the Barrack and the Maldamba and the pressure coming from Bomb King, Davenport may be able to establish themselves on the objective, but too many 1v1 trades going around the outside of the map allows Rowan just to sit pretty on the objective and stack up capture time.
Yeah, and Z1 is kind of using this Ice Staff as more of an artillery tool, sitting up in the high ground and just kind of spamming them down towards underneath that little archway, that causeway down there. Looking for more damage, though, is Fire, who again has that retribution online, and it's on a good target with the Bomb King, so you'll have a little bit extra vision. A nice Ice Storm, though, right in this bell tower, and looking for kills is the rest of Rowan's team as Z1 finds one, Shades another, and Fire in pursuit. You can see him looking with those dual magnums for a kill on the outside near the well, and with a nice pull on the left side, they're able to continue to disrupt Davenport's defense.
ShadeeyShades, so missing a few crucial shots there on Shaolin, whilst the team is still snowballing ahead, and Z1 is setting up all the kills. We aren't seeing the same consistency out of this Shaolin that we saw from Cassie, and that may be an opportunity for Davenport to exploit, but no, straight through rolls the push. No contest coming through there at the end. Rowan, they're up 2-0 already.
3 minutes has just expired on the game clock, so a very quick pace for that first 2-0, and of course that has allowed double really itemization coming out for Rowan, while Davenport is still stuck on their first cards, with the exception of Wi-Fi, who opts to go into another level 1 card. Everything else is pretty much doubled up for the side of Rowan at the moment.
And Rowan are going to be sitting pretty on all those credits. On the other side, Davenport are looking to just get something online, but they can't. They're sitting on enough credits for a mid-round buy, and that might be enough to turn the tables, but Dragon Punch and King Bomb are available. PowTech almost sitting on Dread Serpent. Maybe it's these Keystone Ultimates which will be enough to turn the tide.
They're going to need something. I mean, there just hasn't been much focus coming out of Davenport. They've only had the 1 capture point thus far in this matchup. None on this map, obviously, thus far. And again, with how well this Makoa's been playing this game, Ethereal finds himself a long-distance hook and gets converted the kill. The Illusionary Rift gets spawned out for Rowan to keep the team alive and looking for more damage. But no, it will be the combination of Wi-Fi and Evullli to get there. And now the King Bomb coming into point. Will it find a big stun? It opting to go just with the Makoa, but can he find the kill?
Oh, Dread Serpent used to follow up down very low is going to be Makoa finally falling, and Evulli might have just turned the tables around for their team. Looking for damage on a Ying now as well is Evulli, but no! Alternit comes back strong and to answer back, but still Fire finding an execute, and then a follow-up kill onto the Dragon in the skies is enough to keep Rowan in this fight.
Fire has been doing a very good job of zapping people to another dimension with the law coming out, seeing them absolutely just get particleized as they go through, and that's just really good to get the kill secured. But a nice grenade there from the Victor, able to find a lot of splash damage. And again, now Davenport sitting at 97%, looking for just that last 3 to get it up and give themselves their first point, but overtime is in effect. Z1 and Shades are still doing a good job. The former teammates coming in, Dome Shield on the point, but Z1 jumps right in to take out Grapple. Evulli, one of the last chances left to keep that point in their favor, but it does not go their way, and the retake successful for Rowan.
No fear coming through there from Z1 Unknown. So familiar with this EV champion, understanding the healing nature of Reprieve allows them to dive into danger and set up all of these overtime stalls while staying alive through an onslaught of damage. Killing spree comes through for Z1. 99 to 93%. Nobody from Davenport can get even anywhere close. Rowan gain capture number 2, but will they be able to push it through with quite so much ease as they had last time?
Well, things are going their way when the Dragon Punch connects with an illusion. That's the last target you want to see being connected on, unless you're Rowan, in which case, good news for them. Illusionary Rift once again coming out to sustain this aggression. It's so hard to get yourself set up in your opponent's base just due to the proximity to their respawn, but still, the payload moving for free, and Ethereal looking for another pull. Again, the half shell goes up, the barrage comes straight down, and just able to survive and catch some of that illusion heal is the Makoa player. Reprieve out, keeping Eevee alive, and again, with that Chronos Fox, able to, again, keep Soar and Blink off cooldown as much as possible, but Fire again finds himself a execution on Grapple, so no more frontline for Davenport, and with this extra advantage coming out, Rowan looks to go 4-0.
Despite the King Bomb picking up well, or helping pick up one there, Fire and Z1 on the flank duo go big here. Double coming through, looking for Grapple, who is out from behind that barricade, impaled into a wall, about to fall here. Mr. Hayes cleans him up. Other respawn's gonna be in time, It will be Alternit contesting. Are they too high in the air? The headshot damage is huge. Wi-Fi will try and contest, but alas, not long enough. And Rowan claim victory in game number 2.
4-0, and Rowan looking absolutely unstoppable, and you have to sit and question, did Davenport just not take this game as seriously as they should have? Of course, we have seen Shades been playing here all weekend, but a lot of his team has yet to be on land, and they've had the time to sit at home, practice, watch the games from the last couple of days, come into this very fresh, very excited, and they're amped up. They're getting the adrenaline going, and they find themselves up now 2-0 in this best of 5, and Davenport stunned.
Stunned in more than one way, actually. We saw the Charlene Impaler arrow come out there at the end to Grapple, really helping set up those kills. ShadeeyShades finally finding their mark after a bit of a lackluster game on Charlene compared to their Cassie performance earlier, but it was really fire which set the pace of the game for me. You can see them on Lex at the bottom, their highest credits in game, 22 and 3 with 43,000 damage.
And just absolutely nothing going the way for Davenport, a mere 421 credits for PowTech. You cannot do anything as a healer if you don't have any of that itemization getting online, but again, 43,500 damage for Fire has absolutely showed up to play. And again, one of those players that I have been kind of keeping my eye on through the Gauntlet, because he has made a lot of noise, not just in the Gauntlet, but also throughout all of the series he's played for Rowan. And again, match that up with ShadeeyShades and Z1, who are two of the better damage dealers from North America. And of course, Ethereall, who's had an incredible run playing front lines, one of the better ones as we've seen outside of these top 3 teams, has found himself a lot of shielding. A 9-3 scoreline, and this combination for Rowan has been absolutely devastating thus far.
So much setup coming out of that Dredge Anchor, but equally as much setup coming from Z1 Unknown's Ice Storms in that previous game, able to really lock down these backline champions, set up with a lot of Cripple, running 17 and 2 on Eevee, highest streak is 7, only 34,000 damage, but we've seen this so consistently with Eevee players in the past. Their damage stats don't necessarily represent the impact which they have in the game. You can't quantify zoning.
You really can't, and the Z1 is probably one of the more competitive guys. He's quiet, but he's super competitive when it comes down to Paladins. He takes every game very seriously, and if you've had the chance to check him out even on our own Paladins game channel, he is very intense when he plays the game and is very serious about it. Of course, previously on Eager, so some familiarity between him and ShadeeyShades as they continue to run this team and get Rowan University on the map, on the scoreboard, and possibly a first big chunk of change for not only these players, but also just some representation for the profs.
That's right, we've had this entire series run through so far. Map number 2 going with a 4-0. Somebody needs to pull things back in for the other side, Davenport University. And so far in that last game, we saw PowTech have a bit of a lackluster game on Mount Dalby. You talked about lack of itemization, and it's difficult to heal through all that burst. But again, it feels like there's a little bit something missing from these team compositions, which maybe they'd be able to bring to the table.
I think a lot of this is just the fact that they are very confident coming in, very overconfident as we're seeing now. Merely just a 3 and 6, and again, 31,000 healing, not the best number in the world, but it's hard to keep your team alive when they just continue to die and find themselves in very bad positions. And PowTecHx need to find a way to bring this team back into it. I mean, they're definitely not out of it. This is a very talented team with very experienced and veteran players, but you almost wonder if there's too many chefs in the kitchen just simply with having PowTech and Alternit on that same squad. And of course, Evullli, has been one of the big damage dealers, and maybe they're just not utilizing all their tools the right way. It's kind of fitting a square peg into a round hole, maybe.
If there are too many cooks, it might spoil the broth, but we don't have a broth in Paladins, do we? We don't have a soup skin yet?
No, not yet.
Not yet? Would you like a soup skin?
I like soup.
I like soup. What's your favorite soup?
I have no idea where you're going with this.
I like
I'm a clam chowder guy.
Ooh,
I like clam chowder.
Seafood. Oh, I can't handle that. But no, I certainly can handle some more games. Coming up next will be the 3rd map of the series. Rowan poised to take it all, but it will be Davenport's map choice. Any inclination as to what they might be looking to prioritize here?
I think a lot of the maps between both of these teams, again, they have not had the chance to practice as much as the competitive teams that we've seen at the Masters version of this LAN. So probably finding something that they're all comfortable with. I would most likely stay away from some of the maps we have not seen a lot of. I mean, those Timber Mills and Ice Mines, but you never know. Again, the squad that comes in for Davenport has a lot of veteranship. Alternit, who has played at the highest level we pictured here, they might take a risk and try to catch Rowan off guard from what might normally be what it would be a standard pick, I guess you could say, in the current meta.
Well, if there's any map which might actually be the one to do it on, it could be Ice Mines, often a 3-3 map, often known as the underdog map as well. And with Alternit having a bit of a favor for Ruckus recently, that could be a good map to utilize that repulsor field's damage reduction effects, but still, it leaves a lot on the table. It's a risky play to make, and in this kind of situation, you want to go with something you're comfortable with. Maybe it is time to push boundaries, however.
You never know. It really comes down to what work have they put in outside of just their normal competitions on a weekly basis. So as we get the maps coming to you, we'll see where map 3 decides to go, and our destination, in fact, is Ice Mines. So Davenport may be looking for a longer game where they can get their itemization more comfortably online, where everything might just come down to one last point. But that being said, if they find themselves good momentum and they can find themselves good kill secures, getting a 2-0 lead is very, very big when it comes down to Ice Mines.
It provides such a safety net for these teams, but Davenport, again, they have first pick. It will be Bomb King, unsurprising there. Rowan electing to choose, I would assume, maybe the Charlene prioritization on this map. There are some long line of sights, and whilst it's useful to have Drogos alongside Makoa, the Impaler arrow setups around the point fight can be invaluable.
That looks like what they're going to be hovering over, and on top of that, another consideration for this map is simply the fact that you want to have good, engaging, initiating ultimates where you can really control the tide and the pace of a game, and really none better than using the Ancient Rage with the possibility of getting that extra damage per second when you're in Heat Haze. Again, that drawback speed is absolutely so quick. Barrack is going to be the pickup, though, for Davenport. Again, one of the top 2 frontliners that we've seen so far this weekend. Lex as well, also being locked in for the first time for Davenport, maybe in possibility just taking this away from Fire.
Fire has demonstrated such prowess on Lex so far, but I feel like with a player with that caliber, not just in terms of the Lex's rounds, they're going to be able to have plenty more champions in their pool. Rowan, in tandem, then will look to hover a Ying, getting some support online, some healing for their team, and this has been relatively successful for them so far when they utilized it last game on Stone Keep.
Yeah, and Ying is just able to put out so much sustained healing, what it really comes down to. And Cassie also coming out. Again, this has to be a pickup mostly for Shades, who did so well utilizing her on the first map of Jaguar Falls, possibly looking to bring a comeback for the Hunter's Daughter, but looking to possibly, again, like you had mentioned, Davenport had already pulled out the double front line at one point in time, and looking for possibly, again, as Ruckus does get locked in, and looking for a possible last pick. It has to be a healer in this instance. Will they go with the healing Pip? The Evil Mojo combination would be big, so it looks like that's what they decide to do.
And I really like the idea of this, actually, drafting a Pip which can take the wind out of the sails of the enemy team if they aggress into your back line with Evil Mojo is going to be incredibly useful here. Also a lot of setup potential, but you've got to remember, if you're ulting a Cassie, that scout might come into play. Be very careful with your trigger discipline. Still, a point stack team and a point stack heal, that could work out very nicely on Ice Mines.
Thought it down the winners, which coming out to finish things off. So Grapple will be playing Fortified Barrack. It will be Death Hastens once again. Now Wi-Fi playing Lex. Evullai again on Chain Reaction for Bomb King. Alternit with the Flux Generator Ruckus, and PowTech will be healing with the Mega Potion Pip.
ShadeeyShades on Cassie will be running Exaction. Mr. Hayes on Ying with Resonance there. Fire on Charlene with Desert Shadow. Z1 Unknown on Eevee with Reprieve, and ethereall on Half Shell Makoa. Talk to me about Chain Reaction here.
Chain Reaction is going to be the real big thing for Evullai. Can he find the proper setups, whether it comes down to traps, or can he just get them set up not only around the Makoa, but if the Eevee's in an isolated spot in her ice block, he can set up a nice trap right around her while she de-triggers it, and looking for that first initial kill. Will he get the trap in time? Not in case he has reload right during that ice block, and the Soar will get her away, but a nice big first blood on a double stick as ShadeeyShades falls, and now Davenport gets aggressive. You see them right in the face of the props, but still Z1 on the backside has an opportunity to come and reflank the flank as Alternit and Grapple clean up 2 more. Eevee is still here, but now by herself. She really has to back up as Ying is just not able to do enough to help her out with the damage.
Absolutely no fear, and as you remarked there, the sustained healing coming out of Ying working best over time rather than in a burst, which can be output by Pip hiding behind the barricade. So far, Davenport have made good use of that sustain, but as Z1 Unknown shuts down PowTech, it could be a very good look for Rowan to come in with a retake. 81% and rising for Davenport, but they're being torn apart at the seams.
Yeah, but careful, the Bomb King also very low, and Z1 is out for blood, and a full wipe coming out for Rowan as they come in and recommit as a full 5-man team, so it stalls out at 81%, and this is why Ice Mines is dangerous. As soon as you get yourself a big grouping of kills, you can get aggressive, play up, get the dismounts, and possibly find a couple of staggering kills.
And now, unfortunately, there is no Evil Mojo to break back through this defense again. PowTech playing support pip doesn't have the catalyst damage available to them to really help charge their ultimate so much more quickly. It's 99% for Rowan, and Rowan get the objective again. A third first capture in a row here.
This is really big as far as the momentum goes for Rowan. Again, up to nothing on the scoreboard, but also finding themselves an advantage on Ice Mines, which was not their pick. That's really big. You don't want to fall behind. That extra 300 credits, very, very important to get your momentum started. That being said, this is by far one of the biggest choke points in this map. Very difficult to break. All 5 players are back, as previously we saw Evullli able to take out ShadeeyShades, but still absolutely worth. But here's an opportunity as health pools are getting low. The barricade will, though, take away that dredge anchor as it hit, but Ice Storm able to come in. Will ShadeeyShades be able to capitalize?
ShadeeyShades looking for damage on a grapple here. Barak pulled into the mix, taken down by Mr. Hayes, and ShadeeyShades dodge rolls forwards. The healing potion coming through, but it's still not enough to save anybody from the Cassie damage.
Triple!
Double kill, triple kill coming through, looking for the quadra kill. Can they find it versus Wi-Fi? One more shot, but it's whiffed. Whiffle comes on the top of that trade, but is quickly going to be prioritized by Evie and Makoa, forced straight back into base.
That had to be a fun one between Wi-Fi and ShadeeyShades. Again, both members of Team Eager getting a chance to square off against each other in a very hot 1v1. A nice impale into Planet, though, with the combination of the Ice Staff will mean a kill and an assist going for Z1 and Fire, respectively. And with 1 minute and 15 still left, this payload is starting to break the base of Davenport.
And so far, the front line being led by Makoa. It's a double spearhead here. We're not seeing all of the X put into one basket by Rowan, and Z1 Unknown is providing that distraction pressure coming through. Absorbs a lot of damage from Pip, blinks back to safety, and looks to keep on returning fire from the high ground. These barrage volley shots coming through, dealing so much damage to everybody stacked up on the side of Davenport.
Fire does fall, though, in the midst of his heat haze, so a missed opportunity to get some extra damage in, and of course being down 4v5. Davenport looking to get re-aggressive and establish this defense. As you see, the Grumpy Bomb will do a very good job of doing that, but ooh, oh, that was the pull through the window, but the clips on the side of that window sill, so not able to get the full conversion, but still not letting up as ShadeeyShades was right in here, but Evullii says, no thank you, take 2 of these and head back to bed, as that was the case. Again, Evullii doing so well in the Bomb King and looking to continue to put down the damage, but very low on HP, and a nice hook, but once again clipped on the environment. So Ethereal with 2 great hooks, but denied by Ice Mines.
Saved by the map here. Maybe this was the pocket strategy coming out of Davenport, and they're certainly going to need it. Evullii cleans up 2. PowTech takes out Fire, and with 3 seconds left on this push, even if an extra kill is achieved here, the chain reaction damage comes through. Evullii finds 2 to close. Davenport do defend successfully and get themselves on the board.
A second straight double kill, and Evullii kind of giving up Ethereal, making him wear the Bomb Kings as a belt in that instance, having 3 sticks right around the waistline. That's not going to be good. A little bit of an explosion right in the tummy never hurt anybody, really. Well, in that case, I guess it does. But looking at the itemization, again, as we typically anticipate on this map, it is a lot of investment into master riding right in the mid-level part of this game. And again, you had mentioned the fact that there is this healing pit, but Evil Mojo being very, very detrimental. We're seeing a couple of double resiliences come out for Rowan.
The resilience is being so impactful against Evil Mojo, but also against the Grumpy Bomb stuns from Evullii. Allow Ethereal to sit in the middle of their shell shield and just soak a Grumpy Bomb stun if it's actually going to be thrown through that shield, allowing them to continue contesting or continue capturing. But again, straight to the objective, looking for the trap as Evullii, but pulled in straight in. That Poppy Bomb won't make enough distance. Z1 Unknown looks to shut them down, but it's Fire that gets kill credit.
And with the 4-on-5, again, you're going to see Rowan get very aggressive here, and you can see on the flip side, Davenport all grouping together, making sure they don't get pushed out too far while they're waiting for their big Bomb King to come back into play. But Z1 ready to make things very dangerous for that squad, goes all the way to the back line, and Ethereal takes that as an advantage as everyone was looking for Z1, able to get a free hook onto PowTech, and ShadeeyShades able to convert the kills. So at 66 and plus %, it is still Rowan in control of this point and the positioning of this whole map at the moment. King Bomb, though, coming in. Will he be able to get it off? Not in time as Mr. Hayes shuts it down. And at 96%, Hexafire does come out, but once again, Z1 is being so good at doing the distraction, and it looks like it may very well go Rowan's way one more time.
But on the objective, it will be a Dome Shield. Trying to lock this down is Barak. Did the team of Rowan have enough area damage to shut this down? Z1 certainly thinks so, as they find damage on a PowTech in the backline, taking down the support player for the side of Davenport. It's up to Evullli to sustain here, but double kill for Z1. That's the capture for a second time in a row. Rowan gain the objective, and Z1 Unknown sitting pretty there on the back of that multi-kill.
So many multi-kills coming out for so many different players. Again, showing that these collegiate players, even though they have to spend some amount of credits in getting their hours in at school, are still putting enough time into Paladins to find a way to combine, combo, and absolutely obliterate their opponents. And with that 2-1 scoreline, again, the payload moves past that first choke point for Firee thus far, and Fire looks to continue that momentum as he's up for Firee and is able to stun out Lex in the middle of channeling the Law, so it will not get full value out of that one. Wi-Fi did get the kill on Ethereal, but still 3 full kills coming out for Rowan, and they continue to find momentum.
Barreling down the payload push, looking to break the base of Davenport. If they make it through this choke point versus double frontline, it'll be a big boon for Rowan. But do they have the pressure here? Do they have the damage? PowTech stalled out in the backline and stunned into a wall. Does not fall, but now Heat Haze is activated by Fire.
Looking to get that damage done with the combination of Ice Storm, but taken out mid-air in Soar was Z1 as Grapple finds a kill, and Evullli from up top, able to get down the raining bombs, finds himself another double kill. Fire and Mr. Haze fall out, and you can see Cassie has to retreat back, and this is an interesting spot. They do know where this Makoa is, and Ethereal, and just taking so much punishment, trying to stay alive as long as he can, but there's no chance for him. And now careful, ShadeeyShades, you don't want to be out here by yourself. A lot of damage does confirm, but able to escape with 390 HP as we just get past the 60-second mark until overtime.
You make the interesting remark of staying alive for as long as you can in that situation. Is that really wise, considering the fact that the respawn for Makoa is now so staggered?
Yeah, that's really not a good situation to be in, especially considering you need all 5 to have a shot at this. But again, with the Master Riding, he is back. You hear the Dredgeanchor going off in the background, not able to connect. And ShadeeyShades taking a lot of damage, but is able to dodge roll with just enough distance around the corner to escape Evulli's targeting eye as they continue to go in. And speaking of eyes, they will be fully aware of what's happening as Scout is activated. ShadeeyShades able to find one while the rest of his team is starting to push here, Vox. An opportunity, I think, here for Rowan to possibly make this 3-1.
Evil Mojo is charged and ready, though, but PowTech gets pulled in. That won't be used to try and stop this push, and now Rowan continue to press their advantage. It will be Illusory Rift used by Ying to keep everybody at full HP. Down will go Barak as well. Fire getting credit for that kill. Nobody left to contest this objective. Rowan have a free path through PowTech. Impaled and finished off post-round. Fire goes home with a double kill and a 3-1 scoreline.
And a lot of people, I'm sure, eating their words, whether it be via just word of mouth or on Twitter, everyone talking about how Davenport was going to be able to roll through this. Rowan is coming prepared on every single instance of this game and are looking super strong, up now 3-1 with a huge credit advantage. Of course, still the double resilience, but a couple other luxury items coming on board, and all 5 players have the ever so important Master Riding, and Z1, most closely on your screen bottom right, is ready to get this victory done and keep it here and get a fair share of that 10,000.
Leaning forwards, that keyboard so slanted there is going to be on the other side of things. Z1, as he said, but we're ready to get back to the objective. The fight is continuing, and we do see the Master Ridings really starting to come into play. Davenport, though, Evullai does have Master Riding too, could be sitting pretty and prepared with traps, takes the high ground advantage now and is looking for damage onto the high ground. Evil Mojo into King Bomb. This could be huge, but Resilience comes into play.
Doesn't make a difference, though, when you hit that many sticks post that little, what was now a mini stun, and Evullai getting himself a double and a free shot there onto Fire as he finds 3. Will he find 4 straight? This will be a tough battle against the Eevee, and very wisely, Z1 backs up and escapes with his life and takes a look just to kind of scout things out and to poke and prod while the rest of his team comes off respawn. But still, the big story, Davenport coming right back in this again as they get above 85% on the capture.
It's going to be contested by Z1 here. Reprieve healing doing work for the Eevee player. Hexafire used from the high ground. Alternit looks to lock off all the angles. Ancient Rage by Makoa is going to try and keep this front line alive, but they're not tanky in the face of all of that damage. Double execute for Wi-Fi. Looking to finish off Z1 as well. Find the shot maybe onto Cassie, looking for ShadeeyShades in pursuit. Can't quite close that out, but it's going to be Fire contesting. Double kill for Wi-Fi. Double coming off the back of that engagement. And Davenport, they bring themselves back into this game.
Hanging himself some wallpaper with the Paladin spray, and it looks like we are going to be encountering just a small pause. It looked like there may be a small issue, but again, the boys of Davenport coming right back in this. You can tell they're ready to go. This is not the boisterous squad that we had seen previous in this weekend, just kind of hanging out together and repping their red and black of the Panthers from Grand Rapids. And this is a different look for them. All of them just entranced into their monitors, ready to go, trying to bring this one back. They definitely don't want to go out on this map. They want to try to get a shot to bring this back for the reverse sweep.
And they need to. This push is so crucial for Davenport here. If they're able to equalize and not use ultimates to tie things up 3-3 and have everything beat their advantage, the capture objective will be so crucial. But at the same time, even if they give this one up, they still have the opportunity to go around again. It won't be a victory at a 3 out of 4 scoreline for Rowan. If they make a successful defense, they can only win on a successful capture, and it may be the better decision for this side of Davenport just to hold their ultimates so they're able to re-engage with all of their kit.
Indeed, and that would be the ultimate goal. You want to find a way not only to make this 3-3, but the big important thing is these neutral capture points, especially as ultimates do become charged, they need to be game-changing. They need to be fight-initiating or find a way to get a retake going, and if you do not have that combination of ultimates, it puts you in a very bad spot. So it's going to have to be a very interesting choice when it comes to Davenport, is how much do they want to commit to this push, or do they want to try to build things up and give themselves more of a secure point fight? We saw that one went very well for them as compared to the last handful. They've been looking a little off when it comes to getting those ultimate combinations.
And it's the combo which is so important. It feels like previously Davenport have done everything at the same time. This time it was Evil Mojo using conjunction with King Bomb to set up a lot of kills. Initial capture point control was taken, but simply because Dome Shield was not available, Dome Shield later then in the fight came up and was available, used in tandem with Hexafire to then shut down the retake. That's what's important. It's not about emptying the tanks all in one go. It's about keeping a little something in reserve for when the retake comes through.
And the big thing as well we'd like to see, especially when there's double frontline, is that a trio of 2 frontliners and a support can do a very good job of elongating fights and keeping their team engaged and contesting the point if they don't have full control, or of course if they do have control, maintaining that position. But someone who's been doing a very good job of disrupting that flow has been ShadeeyShades. Of course, Z1 and known as well, this combination of the former Eager from back at HRX, finding some success here again in the line environment.
And again on Cassie played in this third game, ShadeeyShades just going off on one. The dodge roll bonus damage coming into play because they are so precise with their follow-up shots, and precision is what's going to be needed on this defense. I would say that the advantage here may well go to Rowan just on defense based off that long line of sight damage. They can withstand from a distance, but at the same time, Evullli, if they're able to close the gap, Chain Reaction has been doing a lot of work this game so far.
It's a lot of damage very quickly, and you can see the difference in play style. A lot of Bomb Kings, when they're not sure about where their shots are going to be going, will throw left click then right click, left click then right click. Evulli this game has been making sure he gets 2 to 3 every single time before he detonates, because again, that extra damage is absolutely incremental when it comes down to the extra burst potential from this character and his ability really to take down a handful of solo kills on the backhand of either having his own stuns or his teammates.
It's been so impactful so far, and it's a bit of a throwback to the previous style of Bomb King. Before all the bonus damage was changed, before we had the Season 1 patch come through, we saw Evulli make a lot of highlight reel clips on Bomb King with that characteristic playstyle. Not throw 1 and then detonate midair, throw 2, confirm the sticks, going for direct damage. Back before Bomb King actually had this lag compensation, and before it became very easy to detonate in the air next to your targets, we saw this be the predominant playstyle of Bomb King. You've got to confirm the direct hits, you want to stack them up for the bonus damage, you want to detonate every 2 or 3 shots for the maximum potential, but also not leaving yourself with nothing in the chamber in case you need to reload.
And that's just good practice, you know, as we now have that happening here with Chain Reaction as we get back into game again. Davenport had just previously captured and are continuing to get their aggression post that team fight, so 2 to 3 reads the score, still in favor of Rowan. And Wi-Fi taking the high ground very early, looking for a potential opportunity to take down some of these smaller health pool targets.
Just looking for that poke and that headshot around the corner. One of those Death Hastens headshots from Lex on the Eevee would certainly send her fleeing or force an early reprieve ice block. Z1 Unknown though is in the backline just disrupting, playing the characteristic stereotypical Eevee here, but it's doing work. Nobody can find the kill shots onto them, and they're just buying time for their team. 1 minute and 38 left on this push. As it does approach Rowan's base, the red team needs to make a stand here. This is very good play coming out from Davenport.
Yeah, and they're just staying focused and staying together. And on the backside, Z1 has not been as distracting as possible. And on the front side, Ethereall had missed a couple of dredge anchors. Those are really big when it comes down to it, but Z1 Unknown with a triple. Evulli looking to even things back up, but he's the last one left alive in front of this payload and has to find a way around. Z1 knows exactly the route he has to take and is taking the high ground to try to cut cut him off, and this would be a very big stagger if he can confirm the kills, but, ooh, reprieve at the exact right moment to get him back to full HP, but Z1 will disengage and let his team come back to help him out.
Bomb King, for the most part, just wins that matchup. It will be 2 to 3 shots, 3 shots, in fact, to be able to kill that Bomb King, and Bomb King only needs to land 1 combo stick to take down Eevee. It's a dangerous game to play, and something which maybe Z1 shouldn't be attempting. Leave the Bomb King to your long-distance carries. Leave them to the Shaolin, the Cassie to deal with. Go and zone instead, and that's exactly what they've elected to do. An Alternit being poked out so significantly by Fire here must retreat round a corner.
That's the trouble of only having the Pip as your support. He has to focus on getting the biggest, most important targets healed up, and when Alternit is that far out, it's very difficult for Pip to come in. But that being said, Wi-Fi and Evullli able to find 2 kills, but trading happening back and forth as Fire finds himself a delayed double. Wi-Fi able to sit here and take out the support, but still, it is Fire who is in the withdrawal stealth, able to come around the corner, peek his head and say, get out of here, this is our base. And with less than 10 seconds and nobody with a blue jersey even close to coming, I don't see this being a case where they can find a way to get this overtime procced. Not
with every dismount coming through. Fire's play on Fire there manages to take out PowTech in the air with Planted, and that will be the score, stabilized at 3 to 2 to Rowan. As we have said, Rowan cannot win off a successful defense, but they have defended now, and with that defense comes a lot of kills and credits in their pocket. What are we looking at in terms of flavor itemization now that the damage is all online?
Oh, it's really interesting to see that, you know, as they start to max out and find, well, what is their limit as far as their quota goes to some of these luxury items, they actually opt to go with a lot of healing items for Rowan. Of course, you're seeing a handful of life rip just to kind of sustain themselves in those 1v1s, most notably against Lex. But of course, Pip, a very good character at sustaining himself just by his kit alone, so trying to get some of that counter. And of course, the Rejuvenate for Ethereal just to keep him alive. But the big thing here, Vox, was not only the kills, not only the credits, but getting those ultimates charged. There are 4 out of the 5 for Rowan right now.
Still, King Bomb and Evil Mojo are available for Davenport, but this time around, Rowan will be ready and waiting. The same trick won't work twice, Evullli. No, you've been stuck before you even had the opportunity to go in there. Down goes Bomb King, and this sets up kill potential for Fire to go massive in the backline, looking for PowTech. Z1 Unknown will clean up that kill, and Davenport find themselves down 2 members very quickly, down 3, and Wi-Fi surely to fall.
Z1 and ShadeeyShades combining for 4 out of the 5 in that fight, as Fire found the initial kill after the King Bomb was unsuccessful, and on top of that, Evil Mojo was also used, and no follow-up was there with the rest of his team, mostly thanks to the fact that Fire was able to take out the rolling King Bomb, and at 75, now 78+%, Davenport has one last shot, not only to retake, but they're going to have to sustain a defense. The Dome Shield Hexafire combination comes out one more time. Heat Haze also popped just to keep Fire out of the line of sight and to possibly find some extra damage per second. Another King Bomb since it was not channeled before. Evullai finds himself one, but does drop to ShadeeyShades. Point still in control of Davenport, but ShadeeyShades with the double.
Needs to find more here, but Alternit will advance forwards, looking to close the gap. 90% to 96. Somebody from Rowan has to get on the objective, but it will be nobody, and that seemed to be a misplay from Rowan in the previous round. They lost one of their all-important carries to Bomb King early. The retake came through from Davenport. Rowan should have understood that ultimates were online and disengaged rather than stand in the line of fire, because Davenport demonstrated masterful channeling of these ultimates in tandem, and then eventually finishing up with the King Bomb to close out the deal.
I wonder if a lot of that conversation was they weren't sure if the King Bomb had taken care of its channel, because it was very close to being used as Fire took out Evullai before he was able to use it the first time. But still, the channel did not complete all the way through, so he retains that charge and is able to use it in an absolutely clutch way. But speaking of clutch, Z1 Unknown continuing to be very big for his team, finds himself at Ice Storm, it gets one kill, and then says, ShadeeyShades, your turn, tag in. Finds himself a double. Will Shadey find the triple? Looking for the kill. There are 3 players in red, kind of baiting and dancing around the barrack just to keep him alive and stagger him that much further, and they finally give ShadeeyShades his delayed multi-kill, and now going back and setting up their defense is Rowan University.
Very risky play coming through there, though. It was a good stall, and making sure that the barrack didn't have a sync death time with their team was a wise move, but Shaolin almost fell, and that would have evened the table 4-4 right there. If you're going to pull off that kind of play, you've got to make sure that you do execute when necessary. And so Rowan, having the precise trigger discipline required to do so, still pull out ahead. And now the area damage from Z1, my goodness.
Yeah, and plus the hook, of course, in that tight corridor. So hard to get through this choke point, as we've said so many times, and exactly showing why is Z1 and Ethereal as they continue to find damage and dredge anchors alike, and looking for extra damage just to keep his team in is Evullli. But as the time continues to expire on the clock, it's looking less and less likely.
37 seconds remain. 3-3. This game has made it all the way to 17 minutes so far. Davenport currently looking like they're unlikely to be able to break the base or get anywhere near the base of Rowan. ShadeeyShades missing a couple of kill shots there, but still able to help clean up. And with 20 seconds left to go, Rowan need to withstand and hold, and they have so much room to do so.
And they absolutely do, not only just because the payload has really yet to get out of the center part, but the payload path is extremely long and extremely difficult to sustain a full push. But that being said, Evulli looking to keep his team in, finds Fire, a very big target, throws out the Grumpy Bomb. ShadeeyShades looking to convert the kill, will do so. And now ShadeeyShades in the back line while Davenport commits all their resources to trying to get on the payload for as long as possible. But they are so absolutely isolated and being completely engulfed, but that's not stopping Alternit and Wi-Fi from finding the frags. But again, as these respawns come through, how staggered will Davenport be, and how concealed and absolutely controlling can Rowan?
But how staggered will Rowan be if they leave two of their members separated behind the payload to be cleaned up by the respawning Evulli? Looking for more damage now is Wi-Fi as well, trying to push this one forwards. This could be a snowball out of control, but not if Z1 has anything to say about it. The damage coming through from Evulli is keeping ShadeeyShades trapped in a corner. Somebody's got to stabilize here for Rowan, and they can't afford to use their ultimates, but Davenport can use them to win the game.
This would be really big if Davenport can at least bait out a couple of defensive ultimates just to give themselves another advantage. But that being said, the kill feed showing up very red. Alternit, one of the last ones left alive, falls very quickly as the focus comes in, and a very good execution of defense from Rowan to not pop any ultimates and still sustain themselves and make this go to one last capture point.
Everything is on the table for both teams, from Dome Shield to the Execute, from the Scout to the Illusory Rift. Damage dealt chart currently being led by Bomb King, but 3 players from Rowan will be following up very swiftly. It will be Charlene, Cassie, and Evie leading the charts there for that team, and overall the graph is looking pretty red. Last minute itemization coming through. Fire on Charlene looking for a little bit of resilience here now as well. Recognizes how impactful these ultimates will be at the end of the game, not wanting to give Davenport anything. On the other side of things though, we're seeing a lot of Haven prioritization here coming through from the team in blue.
Yeah, smart choices really from both sides. Again, it's going to come down to who can do the damage quickest, and of course resilience is going to be really big to make sure that does not happen to you if you're Rowan. But on the flip side, it's been all Cassie and Shaolin thus far, and a huge ice storm put up into the rafters will find Evulli very early off the bat. So no Bomb King here, and Davenport, without having that burst damage, has to play a little passive, and that's going to perfectly into the dredge anchor as Ethereal pulls out Alternit, and another kill comes through. So early committal and early capture coming out for Rowan.
But Rowan can't afford to play too aggressively here. They can send Z1 through because the nature of Z1's playstyle and their champion, but they've got to be careful of the evil mojo from Davenport. That can be used to re-engage here, and if Rowan overextend or group up a little bit too much, 96%. Then it could turn the tide. Onto the objective though is going Fire. Hexafire comes through in tandem with Evil Mojo. Evulli cleans up one. Dome Shield used to try and hold things down, but will it be enough? Evulli comes out on top. Grapple with the double kill. Fire goes down as well, and at 96%, Rowan have been stumped. Davenport come through. The ultimate combos, now they're in sync.
Just in the nick of time, and Evulli will be setting up a trap to again make everybody from the red side for Rowan to take the long path around. But that being said, Ancient Rage is still here, but at the same point we also do have the Law ready to be carried out at any point for Davenport. The fight coming in at 93 to 96%. It's coming down to just these last 3%. There comes the Law, but it was a nice proc of the Ancient Rage to keep out that damage from really finding the sustain. But Wi-Fi with a double, looking for a triple. It's coming down to trade versus trade. The Ice Storm gets there, but a triple for Wi-Fi. It's Z1 versus Wi-Fi, the former teammates, and Z1 wins it up, and Rowan University takes the set 3 maps to none.
It all comes down to a 1v1. That's Paladins for you. My goodness, and look at the looks of elation on this squad's faces. Rowan University coming out in top, and the hugs come through. So happy for their teammates, so proud of their accomplishments, but also of their worthy opponents who very nearly took them to a Game 4.
Davenport, absolutely stunned. They have players today who are going to be playing for possibly a grand finals. They had to get through the semis, of course, but again, hearing all the hype from Davenport and the fact that, yeah, who do you want us to play? Yeah, we'll play whoever you want. We'll play whoever you want. And they get absolutely thwarted around
I'm
the
still
stat
mad we didn't see Grover. Always.
Look at the stat line, though. 54 eliminations for Fire, 47, 45 for each Z1 unknown and ShadeeyShades. mrhazee gets the damage in as Ying able to do 57,000 while doing 104,000 healing. Absolutely incredible play from these characters, these champions that we have not even seen come to the LAN for the actual competitive team with their actual squads.
And it's this combination of Cassie and Evie in tandem which has been so interesting to me. They've worked as a pair, and whilst we did see a lot of deaths picked up by ShadeeyShades, what we kept on seeing happening was that, okay, these two go in, they just find Bomb King. They just look for Bomb King, because Bomb King, whilst they can deal with each one of those individually one at a time, both at the same time, it's the perfect pin. So they're both hyper-mobile. They both have the burst required to deal with that tanky health pool, and with a lot of competitive players running cards which increase Bomb King's health pool, that's 2,700 health to chew through, and maybe the exaction bonus damage is going to be enough to do just that.
Without a doubt, but at the end, it is Rowan who survives the first ever iteration of Collegiate Paladins, taking home $6,000 out of that $10,000 prize pool. Again, a nice pretty penny to keep yourself going in those potential 4, maybe plus years.
Whilst we did see Davenport take the fall there, they still gained second place. They still gained $4,000 US overall as well. And you can see on your screen 3-1 or 3-0, excuse me, defending their title, or really establishing their title. Will Rowan for the first time around, but well, hopefully not the last.
Yeah, the profs definitely have something to hoot about as they go back and head their way back to New Jersey as they finish out the rest of the weekend. And again, AVGL, props to everybody in the admins who had been putting on a very successful collegiate championship. But that is not it. We have more championships yet to be established. The semis, 2 iterations of, and of course the grand finals of the Paladins Masters coming up. And that's not the only thing we're going to be cutting around today.
No, it's there. Oh my goodness. See, I was going to go in with this. I was going to say that there were going to be some hair-raising games. But again, that's not going to be the only thing that's hair-raising. All of you who are familiar with the spring fling coming out for Hi-Rez Studios may be familiar with one of the donation goals actually met before the stream even began. Well,
I'm excited
for the kids.
It's for all of us, really.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, and here, speaking of a guy who knows
a
lot about a little hair, look at the sniveling looks.
Oh, dear.
Kret, the man himself, is going to be getting the Clippers buzzing. So when we come back at it, we'll be Vox, losing those long locks of hair. It's been, what, since you were 13? Since he was 13. So stay tuned. We're going to have some head shaving coming online. But on top of that, of course, you have Rain Day and Pretty here coming up. Don't go anywhere.